What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Play Pause podcast, second edition of the live version of the Play Pause podcast. As always, we're here with Alex and myself, Matt, your hosts. Another week without Steph, but that's okay. She'll be back eventually. How you doing, Alex?
Oh, I'm alive.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
alive. You know, we're here. You're there. We're everywhere.
but not at each other's houses.
No,
That's why we're
no.
doing this online.
Yes.
Yes,
Sure.
but we're everywhere
Maybe.
else. We're sitting next to you, listening and watching this in the past and in the future. Look at that.
Oh, snapola.
Man, I feel like we got a huge podcast today. There's a lot going on, or there's been a lot going on since last time we met.
It's true. It's true. It's a crazy weekend for entertainment and
Yep.
technology, I guess. I don't know. What's
Well, I mean,
happening here?
let's start off with the big stuff. I feel like you've got a lot to talk. Usually I feel like we start these podcasts and you're like, Matt, it seems like you're gonna have a lot to talk about because random tech thing happened, and so I go into a big rant. But I think for once, the ball's in your court, my friend.
Let's not change things. Let's just keep going the way we are. Let's end it off, and we'll go into my stuff after. It always seems like the natural course of things to do.
I say, man, just so stuck in your ways. They're gonna force me to go first. That's fine. That's fine. I can go first.
That's how it works, man.
Well,
That's how it's
let's
meant
just
to be.
yeah, let's just jump right in. So obviously this Monday, Apple did their big Unleashed event. They kicked it off kind of weird. I think you watched it too, right? You were half paying attention anyway throughout.
Yeah, a
Right?
little bit here and there.
Okay.
You know, I do what I can.
Yeah. So Apple had their big event on Monday. They do these events every so often, and this was all about bringing the new MacBooks that we've all been waiting for. So earlier, well, actually late last year, if you're a subscriber to our channel, our YouTube channel, you would have seen a video of me showing off Apple's latest MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. While they looked exactly the same as the previous generation, the insides were completely different. They were powered by Apple's own chipsets. So Apple is doing away with Intel hardware, and they are building their own chips. That's graphics, that's your CPU, everything. It's all just on a single SoC.
Imagine if they
called
made
Apple
potato
Silicon.
chips. That'd be hilarious.
Apple chips. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, maybe they will.
Yeah, so those were called the M1. And, for the past year, they've been kind of taking the world by storm a little bit. They've been these fantastic entry-level Apple laptops. Alex, you're using one. I use one every single day for work, and they're actually fantastic. The battery life's super long. They're plenty fast. The only gripes people have had with them have been, they're limited to 2 ports. You only have 2 USB-C ports on the one side. Often one's being used for charging. I mean, they have great battery life. You don't always have to use it for charging. But I mean, again, if you do have to charge, that's one of your ports gone. And you're limited to just a single external display. So people who use these for work every day, like myself, it would be nice to be able to plug in more than one external display when you're trying to do a whole lot of things at the same time.
Exactly.
So we've been waiting, and here we are almost a full year later, and Apple has gone ahead. They've announced the new Macs. They're out this Monday. We've got a brand new MacBook Pro 14-inch and a brand new MacBook Pro 16-inch, and they actually are new. They're not just like mirror images of the previous model. They don't look like the ones that are on the market right now. These guys they're a bit beefier, but for good reason. They brought a whole lot to the table, including ports. You got ports back. So now we have 3 USB-C ports. HDMI makes a return. SD card slot makes a return. MagSafe's back. So anybody who used to use a Mac way back and was used to being able to charge their Mac with this magnetic cord that just attaches knows how fantastic that was, because if you trip over your cord, your computer's not going flying off a table. It's staying exactly where it is, and just the charger just really easily disconnects. But it's not so sensitive when you're moving your computer around on the table that you lose it as well, right? Like it's pretty fantastic.
These whole changes that they just created, I just don't know why. It didn't make sense for them to make them changes in the first place.
No, it didn't. Yeah.
And then like the touch bar, it's cool, but what's the point?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of stupid. So
You're not wrong. Like it was pretty silly.
and now they have to revert back to their old ways. So it's just like,
Yeah, like they've
it's
been doing this like USB-C only thing since 2016. That's when they eliminated all of these ports. And I mean, when we're talking about like the MacBook Pro in particular, this is supposed to be a professional grade computer. And the main trouble everybody has faced since they've gone away from the old MacBook ports was if I'm using this every single day and I have to connect a camera and upload photos or videos, if I'm doing anything at all like that, I need to connect dongle after dongle after dongle. Even most displays, you would need to connect in a dongle to connect an HDMI port to. And it's just like, you live in Dongle City, your bag's filled with all of these little connectors just so you can plug in different things. And that's not convenient for anybody. So to bring these back, it makes a ton of sense. And that's just one small part of what makes these computers great. Let's talk about the keyboard a little bit. They got rid of the touch bar. Very hated. I think does your model have the touch bar?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what's been your opinion of it since you had this computer? You've only had it a couple of months at this point. Like, what do you think of the touch bar?
I don't really use it, so I don't really have a vocal opinion on it. Like the only thing I use it for is like the volume, and even then, it's like I don't really watch a lot of videos on my computer that much anymore.
Yeah.
So plus, like the only thing I really use it for is screenshots. Like, because it's like it's an easier than short keys, but that's really it. That's all I really use it for.
And honestly, like a lot of people who are power users of a computer are used to function keys. They're used to the shortcuts that are built in. You can just feel it without having to look down at it, right? Like oftentimes, where a volume button is because you use it so frequently. So if I'm watching something, I don't want to have to look down for this slider, tap on it, make sure I'm tapping on the right thing. I just can feel for it and I can touch it. So having the touch bar gone, I don't think anybody's gonna cry foul saying, "Oh my gosh!" Like I've been using Macs with the touch bar since 2016. Just like you, I use it just for the most basic things, which are things like controlling my screen brightness, controlling my volume, which I can do without a touch bar. I can do it actually a lot easier without a touch bar. So
yeah,
I'm happy to see it go. It was just unnecessary extra technology in there. Happy to see it go. Touch ID is still there though, which is fantastic. Touch ID is great. It's great for just quickly logging into your computer. It's great for using Apple Pay when you're buying stuff online. That awesome. Thank you. I love it.
I don't say thank you because I'll never have one, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, eventually you might upgrade. Let's talk about. But the screen's been upgraded. This is probably like the one thing that most people are gonna be like not so happy about is while the screens are larger in the same case size. So if you buy the 16-inch, you've got smaller bezels, which is a good thing. The not so great thing is they brought the notch. So just like on your iPhone, how there's that little notch up there for your camera. Well, now there's a notch on the MacBook screen for its camera. The camera is improved. It's a better camera than the one they've shipped previously, which is great. You can always use a better camera, especially in this day and age where we're spending more time on video calls than ever. So to have a 1080p camera that has, a better sensor, handles light better, is a faster speed camera. All in all, benefits, thank you, but the notch is going to be divisive. A lot of people are not upset about it. At the end of the day, you don't use that space of your computer a whole heck of a lot. I mean, for video editors and photo editors, it might be annoying, but because the screens aren't perfectly 16:9, which is like that cinematic mode anyway, and most full screen applications will just like, bring that down as if you had a bezel. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's just kind of an eyesore when you have, you're using your computer day to day, maybe you're web browsing, you see this like big notch in the middle. It's just not the greatest thing in the world to see, personally.
No, not at all.
I mean, I can probably, why don't I just bring it up on the screen here? I actually have a window open of it. Yeah, here we are. So that is the new MacBook Pro. It's fine. Like the notch is fine. Like here you can see, like when you're in a full screen app, it just makes it look like you have a big bezel. And you'll probably notice like Apple's almost trying to hide it in their promotional like stuff. Like they're using like dark backgrounds so you're not like staring it right in the face. haven't talked about the processors yet, but yeah, there you can see all the ports back. So the SD card slot, you got 3 USB-C ports, which, and it is already confirmed. You can plug it into, so the 14-inch model, I think you can plug like 2 or 3 displays into, and the 16-inch model, you can actually plug 4 displays. So that's like 3 super high res displays plus a 4K television at the same time, which is just awesome. You're seeing a lot of numbers here. It is a much faster computer, and that is coming down to the new chips. So we got the M1 Pro and the M1 Max. These things are just screaming fast for a laptop computer. They're some of the fastest Macs you can buy right now. I think there's only like 2 models that are faster, and that's the Mac Pro, which you're not going to beat that performance in a laptop. It's just not possible. And I think there's like one iMac with a specific configuration that can outperform these. But other than that, like for laptops, these are probably some of the fastest laptops you're going to be able to find, period, not just Apple related. So it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan. I want one.
Yeah.
The price is it's up there. So Canadian, the 14-inch model starts at I think $3,000, or sorry, 2,500, and that's for the a slightly clocked down version. So it's the 8-core CPU versus the 10-core, which honestly, for most people, this is already more than enough. The computer that you've got, the 13-inch Pro standard M1, is actually a fantastic choice for, I would say, like 80% of people. The people who should be buying this 14-inch and the 16-inch, these are professionals. You're using this for productivity. You're using this to, do work, do school, like, and more advanced stuff. I mean, like, not just day-to-day, like taking notes in class and whatnot. You don't need these for those. These are true professional laptops. And thank you, Apple, for bringing back the Pro name in a proper manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I'm not going to thank them because I don't have one. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is what it is.
Am I crazy for wanting this M1 Max?
No, because it's you. So you wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if you
starts at $4,400
if you got one next week. So,
my gosh.
But yeah, if you're just listening, Matt's just looking at the Apple website where you can check out all the information of the Apple, the new MacBook Pros. Yeah, it's okay if you don't care about it. That's totally fine. I get it. Matt's
they come out on Tuesday.
Yeah, Matt will have one on Tuesday.
We'll see. I'm actually I'm gonna be in Montreal next week, so I will not be home. But there is one on order for me for work already. It's not the one that I would buy, but it's still one of the new models. So I could have one as early as next week. Yeah, we'll see about that.
And he'll take pictures and try to show it to everyone, and then it'll be a whole thing in the comments. So let us know what you think about them and if they're necessary or if you don't care. If you're a Windows computer player person thing, good luck. I don't know about good luck about what, but good luck.
A couple of other quick announcements from the Apple event. So there's new AirPods. So the just standard AirPods, they're being replaced by the 3rd generation. The 3rd generation takes a new design, and the case takes a new design as well. So they're looking a little bit more like the AirPod Pros. They've got spatial audio now, so that's a nice little update. Still supports wireless charging. And actually now the case supports MagSafe charging for whatever reason. So the same type of MagSafe charger you use for your watch, you can now use for your AirPods, which is fine. I don't know who asked for that, but
you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and then the last like product that Apple's releasing, they didn't announce this at the event, but it was announced afterwards. They now have a $19 or at least $19 American polishing cloth.
Cool. So how many did you buy, Matt? How many did you buy?
I have not bought one. I'm actually trying to find it right now to see how much they're trying to sell it for, because I just think it's hilarious, and it's already making like the world or the internet world kind of like find a reason to get mad at Apple. Here we are. I found it. I'm gonna show this thing off. $25 Canadian. Currently it's free shipping, but it's 2 to 3 months before you're going to receive yours. So it's this fancy, just perfectly designed Apple. No, I think it's ridiculous. You can buy microfiber cloths for next to nothing. As long as you're not buying like the worst of the worst with like plastic in them, you're not going to deal with scratches, and you don't need this. Like, if you buy this, it's because you just have too much money. That's the state of that. So, yeah.
Well, we'll see how many you get in the end. So yeah, classic Apple.
Yep.
Apple. Milking their way through things that people want to buy and don't want to buy, but
Right?
want to have, but need to have and don't want to have. You know, all of those
There is something
subjects.
that all you iPhone owners will look forward to, though. And Alex, I think you're on the beta now, right? You're using the 15.1 beta.
Yes.
So
I am.
iOS 15.1 drops on Monday. And for all of us Ontario residents, which I think makes up most of our fan base and listeners, if you have the most recent vaccine, the enhanced vaccine passport, so the QR code, and you've added it to your health app, well, with the update this Monday, you'll be able to put that right into your wallet app. So you'll be able to just go into a restaurant, double press on the side button there. That'll bring up your wallet, and you can open up your vaccination, and there's your QR code. It's going to still need your Face ID to actually show it, but then bam, there is your QR code. I can't show it because it's too shiny. But yeah,
There you
so
go.
that's nice.
Yeah.
It's super quick and easy to pop up. A lot easier than carrying around a piece of paper with you, in my opinion.
Theoretically, I always just used a picture, but that's fine. Because that seemed easier.
Actually, one idea that I heard yesterday from someone, they said, take a screenshot of it and make it your background of your phone.
Could do that.
Who knew? You just wake up your phone. There it is. You got your QR code ready to go.
Seems like a waste. How many restaurants and stuff are you going to? Like,
I mean, you'd have to be going to a lot, and I'm sure like Toronto city dwellers probably really enjoy that. Us plebs that go like to places like once a week or twice a week tops, it doesn't make a big difference for me.
No. But
do you have to get it scanned? I mean, no, that wouldn't make sense. I was going to ask you like when you go to work if you had to get it scanned, but that literally makes sense.
There's no laws against people who aren't vaccinated to be working there. But so people who are unvaccinated can serve you and cook your food, but they can't go eat in their own restaurant. But that's the law, you know? That's the way it is.
Speaking of which, as of the 30th, whether you are working for or just being a customer of Via Rail and passenger planes within Canada, if you're getting onto any of these, getting onto a flight, getting onto a train, whether you're working there or you're just a passenger, you have to be fully vaccinated and show your QR code. They are giving a month for people who have yet to get vaccinated but are going to be getting vaccinated. You can show your recent negative test, and then you'll have to, by the 30th of November, show that you're at least scheduled to get your vaccine. And obviously you'll have to follow through with it to be able to continue to either work or go on these services.
Yes. I mean, most of Ontario is vaccinated anyways, so
I don't know what the percentages are now.
It was like over 80 like a week ago, so
yeah,
or 2 weeks ago. So I mean, I'm not too worried. I mean, I get it, but the only way we're gonna move forward is everyone just, you know, be as a sheep, I guess, to those people who think we're just being sheep. So it is what it is. You know,
it is what it
is.
It is what it is.
Live your own life, but you know, live safely for other people. I don't know. Who knows? You know, I don't get it. People still think Trump's in office, so that's kind of a whole thing. So there's all that.
Man. Yeah.
And then when so I watched a video, I guess, I don't know, from the Daily Show, and then he's like, he goes to a guy and he's like, yep, Trump's still in office. Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, never left office. He's in control of the military. Oh, okay, cool. So he's at fault for what happened in Afghanistan. No. But he's still running the government. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It's just some crazy rhetorics out there, man. I don't get it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, man.
All right. Enough political stuff. Because that's what we are. We're a political podcast now.
I mean, there is more political stuff we can talk about if you just want to stay on that theme for one more topic.
Oh, I really don't, but we're going to, so let's go for it.
Well, I mean, pick your poison. We can either come back to it later, or we can just get through it right now.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It
So Netflix,
is what it
there
is.
is some controversy. Have you heard about this controversy, Alex?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So Netflix is employees are pretty upset. A lot of people are upset about the most recent Dave Chappelle special. There was some transphobic comments made throughout, which is not untypical of Dave Chappelle. But the further and further we get time, the less willing people are to put up with it. And it's created a whole back and forth dialogue. There are people talking about how, so now, yeah, I mean, today, a lot of employees were walking out of Netflix. A lot of trans folk and supporters are walking out. And, a lot of places are saying, don't stream Netflix right now or today. Just like show them that, you're not going to stand for this. I think there's a couple ways you can look at it. And I think there's a lot of people in the comedy industry that are saying like, hey, like nothing's off the table. Like that's the point of comedy. Like you are commentary on everything, and every joke you make, whatever it is on the table. Other people are trying to argue that, hey, I mean, like, yeah, maybe everything's on the table, but how you go about talking about it and what your message is still has to, be forward thinking. Obviously people are upset. The CEO is apologizing, saying he has responded incorrectly, because initially he was like okay with it. He's like, it's Dave Chappelle, whatever. Now it seems like he's a bit more,
I think he was more. He said he
apologetic.
screwed up on how he handled it. Like I think he's still sticking to his guns to a point, but the way he phrased it is like we said the wrong things, and that's really what it is. When it comes down to the actual specials, I don't watch Dave Chappelle in general. I haven't watched him since he was like on Comedy Central or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of stand up specials that much anymore, anyways, because I have an attention disorder when it comes to technology nowadays. So, thanks TikTok for that. That was your fault. But yeah, I don't know. From what I've heard obviously both sides of it, and apparently, if you watch the whole thing, it kind of explains what his view is on it actually, and it's not really against it from one side, and then one side and then the other side says it's inexcusable. But I don't know. I didn't hear it. I didn't read the jokes. I don't care to participate in it in a sense where I have to understand. I don't support. I don't know. How do I phrase that? I don't. So like obviously we don't support hate speech. That's obviously a thing but I also believe that there is a goal in comedy where there is, you have to make a sense of it, right? And there is a line. Yes, absolutely. I don't know what the jokes were. I don't want to
I
look
haven't
into the
watched it.
jokes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what cross line. I mean, what line he crossed, if he did. So I support. Everyone's right to have an opinion about it. So be my guess.
It looks like in the comments we got Jamie O'Connor. I'm not sure if you know who this person is, but
not a clue.
Sounds familiar.
Complete mystery.
Not a huge fan of their last Netflix special. A lot of jokes about sexual assault. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch them a decade, probably 2 decades ago, when a lot of this kind of stuff was very like in fashion for comedy, and it was very typical, and it was the laughter. I will agree, when I watched that last special, I know the one that Jamie's referring to because we watched it together.
No, no way.
Shock, right? Surprise. Yeah, I honestly, I was kind of like, yeah, this is like old school and it's not needed anymore. I mean, I think the industry's moved on personally.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, like a little bit, and yes and no. I mean, it depends who it is, and I'm like, there's sticks out there that that are just who it is. Like if you look at Anthony Jeselnik, and I think his humor isn't for everyone. Like, I mean, you got the worst jokes out there sometimes, he would say, but I mean, it's also about timing for those. But it's also who you are. Like, not everyone's gonna accept baby jokes anymore, dead baby jokes. Not everyone's gonna accept mental illness jokes about family and stuff like that. But if the thing is, you got to look at comedy as a whole. Everyone loves Bo Burnham and his new special, but if you look at his last ones, are people up in arms about his last ones? No, not at all. And where he was literally blatantly calling himself a faggot. Excuse my language, I shouldn't have said it, but you know what I mean. He's blatantly calling himself that and stuff like that. But where is the up in arms in that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know who I am, I'm not one to be easily offended by things.
Yeah.
So, but I will, if you're offended, I get it. You have your right
Yep.
to be offended. But I
Yep.
also believe in the idea that why is your right to be offended any more right than mine to be not offended? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I don't think that's at
That's
all like
totally again
like I
a
mean, it's
side
not an
version
argument
of
that
the
I'm aware of.
actual
Yeah.
of the actual comment that we're on.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, but it is that kind of idea too. Like, I again haven't watched the Dave Chappelle special. I have no plans on
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually it comes off of Netflix.
Yeah, at this
Um,
point, yeah.
but I also wouldn't be surprised if they keep it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've already paid for it. So why,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a market that are going to now drive to it because of
Yep.
all this controversy. So that's the problem too. If they did it more internalized, obviously it wouldn't have gotten as big of a reception. People wouldn't have known about it, but I think they could have accomplished a little bit more if. Again, also, I don't know the state of the world, I guess, that much either. Maybe a bigger
Right.
commotion is because you got to look at like what happened with um, the George Floyd thing, like how big of that reception that
Yeah.
was. This isn't obviously on the same scale.
No, no, no.
I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
but you can make a big deal about it. I know I'm just rambling now, so you can stop me
You're
anytime.
fine.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird ones, and I guess as this being the thing that we do, I should have watched it and really came up with an opinion about it. But I don't have patience for Dave Chappelle, really, to be honest. A lot
Yeah.
of his jokes are just, they're just jokes, but I don't find them funny.
I just
But
like, yeah, the last time I watched any of his stuff, it just like it feels like old school comedy, and I like it hasn't evolved, I guess is the best way to describe it. So
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, like Bo Burnham's Inside Special, while not like typical comedy, not even like modern typical comedy, it was just really good for its own thing. That's a very standalone thing.
hmm
But there's a lot of like comedians out there that I do really enjoy watching right now. I mean, Tom Segura, I'm a big fan of watching. He crosses the line a lot, but like he does it in like a shit disturber way where like he's like, I know what I'm saying is so wrong, but that's how I'm getting, like that's my shtick. And
but then
that,
you have to
right?
use that, and then I guess a lot of people would probably say you have to use that argument against David Chappelle. For us who have not watched it,
Sure.
could be saying like that was the whole point of what he was saying, how we delivered it, and it was taken wrong. Like you know what I mean? That's one of the
And
arguments that I was saying because apparently at the end of it,
fair point. But when I've seen the last stuff, like the way I've interpreted how he portrays it versus how I've interpreted like Tom Segura and some other comedians recently, it seems like, and even from his comments after this special, it seems very much like, hey, like people shouldn't be offended. Like it's just how I do my comedy. And it's
yeah,
like, it doesn't seem like he really actually understands that like that isn't okay. Whereas like I found with these other comedians, and I'm just using Tom as a example, but there's more where they clearly know where that line is, and they know when they're crossing it, and they know they're being shitheads about it. And it's just a different, it's a different interpretation that I've taken away from it anyway.
yeah, and I mean I get it. I mean like accountability is a thing for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing your own accountability. But I mean it's also comedy. So I mean it's like one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where is the safe line? Who gets to make that
Yeah.
decision? Who gets to put what out there? And I guess it's up to the companies that promote it, and I guess it's up to
Yeah.
Netflix and what they want to choose to do it. But you got to
And the
remember the
people
same
that are watching
company,
it, right?
people are watching it, but you got to remember like
Mhm.
Netflix put out Sense8, and that was the most
Yeah.
multicultural
Yep.
trans show out there, right? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it was they were in full support of it. It's made by the creators of one of the creators of the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
so, it's deceived to say that they're not listening. In this
Mm.
situation, I think it's just you could also there's some things I've read about it too. Is that I mean people are taking it on a racial slant that if a white guy said this or a white woman said it in a sense or whatever,
Yeah.
would the reaction be different?
Mm.
I mean we'll never know, right?
Yeah.
You will never
True.
know unless we find an evidence of it
And
being up there.
hopefully nobody
You know,
else tries to go and pull this shit.
you know what I mean? But
Like,
like the
yeah.
idea that it's Dave Chappelle, he's a black guy, a very big,
Sure.
sensible black guy. Not
Sure.
sensible, but you know what I mean. Like he's
Very
not
successful.
sensible. That's the word. It was
Yeah.
that's what it is, and they're just trying to take it down a notch or whatever. Yeah, I could see that if you really wanted to see it in that lens. You could see anything.
Mhm.
You could see anything in any lens if you really wanted to. And that's what my problem is, I guess, is, where is the line? Who gets to
Yeah.
make that decisions? And for if you, I mean, and to me, like, if it's, I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing I can say that's going to be good or bad here. So,
Mhm. All good. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just commenting on something that we haven't even watched the special. So
yeah, I know exactly. So it's
I mean, if you really want to understand what happened here and make your own opinion, go and watch it. I think we've talked about as much as we can about the subject,
yeah.
based on what we've heard about, but form your own opinion at the end of
Yeah,
the
if you
day.
listen to this or you know me, you know where I
Yeah.
stand on hate speech and it's wrong.
Mhm.
But, if you know me, raised in a different time,
Yep.
maybe? Or do I have a different point of view because I'm not white? Ooh, burn white people. What? I don't know.
I'm just gonna let you drive, just drive off that cliff all by yourself right now, bud.
I'll do it. I got nothing to lose. Um, but yeah, that's Dave Chappelle on Netflix. So
Yeah.
good for you.
All right. That's the hot topics. I think we can get on to more fun stuff now.
I mean, I hope Netflix is happy and healthy. Not me. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I was singing a song by what's her face? I don't
I
know,
don't know.
Olivia
I don't know the song.
Rodrigo. Good for you. One of the biggest
All right.
songs in the world. How do you not know that song? It's like
Good
the
for
biggest
you.
song in the world after
Who's
Driver's
that?
License.
What's their name?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, I don't listen to
And
top 40.
it was like the biggest song of the summer, and is like second biggest song of the summer because she had the other first big song of the summer, which was Driver's License. And then it was like huge. And then it was like, you know what? We ripped off Paramore, so we're gonna give Paramore the credit for writing the song. And then it was a whole thing.
Oh
It was like,
boy.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So the fact that you
Hmm.
don't know it, Matt, says a lot. It really doesn't. But it says something. It doesn't say anything,
I don't know.
but it says
I'm
something.
listening to it right now, and I don't know this song. I've definitely never heard it.
Wow. You got to get out of your corner and open the world, Matt.
Hey, I heard about Baby Shark for the first time earlier this year and found out what
Matt,
that
that
song was.
song is 4 years old.
It's still one of the top played songs on Spotify.
It's 4 years old. Get with the times. But I mean, I guess you thought that the King Arthur, the sword or whatever, came out this year. So
all right. To be fair, okay. So backstory on this one: we were putting in our notes, or I should say, Alex made a bunch of notes, and then I just fooled around trying to get our new stream set up today. And I had placed a note in a few days ago when I came across a movie that was new to me that I thought I saw was just uploaded. So I just assumed that this was a new movie about to come out or was just coming out. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of good. And turns out it was out years ago, and I should have checked my facts. So thank you, Alex, for calling me on my shit.
somebody's got to do it. Somebody oh my gosh, it's like, the fact that you didn't even look into it, it's like, uh, makes me laugh. So
Well, I feel like when I saw the trailer, I think it because a lot of movies don't list the year that it's coming out. And I think the end was like October 15th. And so by the end of it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. This is brand spanking new. Let's get this up.
2017. 6.7 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes 31%.
Yep.
41% on TV Guide. Movie was a garbage disaster, and you still wanted people to go talk about it. Shame.
I didn't know it was going to be a disaster. I saw a trailer and it seemed kind of interesting to me. But now that I realize it's 4 years ago, and I've also realized you just don't see Charlie Hunnam anywhere anymore. So
yeah, well,
I mean, what's he been up to lately?
Not much. He's not a very he's very he's got a after doing a show for so long, you get stuck in areas, right? Like it's just the way it is. It's hard for some people to break out of that character, especially when you have that look, right?
Well, I mean, he was in The Gentleman. That was a pretty good
that
movie.
was a good
but
movie.
Again, he basically played Jax Teller in it. He wasn't exactly.
He played a British version of him, but yes, he played himself. Because I was sure that's what Charlie Hunnam's like now. Is this? It's kind of like,
or at least
Robert
that's
Downey
how he
Jr.
portrays himself, right?
He's like how Robert Downey Jr. is now this character, or vice versa. However you want to look at it, you could say that Iron Man was just Robert Downey Jr., or you could say Robert Downey Jr. was just Iron Man. Whatever you want to be. Basically, so that's how it is. Because he's got nothing really coming up, I don't think. But he's in a TV series coming out though.
Yeah, I saw a couple episodes.
Shantram.
I don't know anything about that.
It looks like
Shantram?
it's called it's based. The
Can't
story is a heroin addict incarcerated for robbery escapes prison and reinvents himself as a doctor in the slums of Bombay. Was a white guy in India. Weird. He tries to his ties to the crime underworld that there led him to Afghanistan, where he partners with the mob boss locked in a battle with Russian criminals. So that's interesting. And
apparently it's based on a book, a 2003 novel by Gregory David Roberts. Came out in 2003.
Man, the world's gonna hate it. There's no brown people casted, so it's fun. A movie based, a TV show based in Bombay is gonna not, and then Afghanistan. They have one Middle Eastern gentleman, but
yeah,
it seems a little rough go, right?
A little risky.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what culture is these days, as we just went through that. But anyways, so that's well, I guess we'll go through movies real quick, I guess, since we talked about a movie that came out 4 years ago. What we got? We had DC Fandom this weekend on Sunday, which is a weird name for things, but this is the second year they've done it, second or third year. And it's kind of just like their big DC event for comics and movies and television, kind of just tell you what's going on. And this one's kind of big because like they have a lot of stuff coming out in the next few years. So they had a lot of stuff to go over. Like, one of the big things that if you're watching this live, you could see we got the Batman trailer that came out, a full trailer, not just like, a teaser one that we saw earlier in the year, but a main trailer, they're calling it. And we kind of see, a lot of the characters. We see Detective Gordon. We see Batman in his full ass-kicking suit, where he gets shot 10 times and lives. Pff, who knew?
Right.
Yeah. And using his bat, what are they called?
Batarangs?
No. I don't remember. Bat taser. His bat taser. You don't really get to see the Riddler that much. I think they're keeping him a little hidden, which is fine. But a lot of people are upset that they don't get to see the villain in it.
You see a lot of Catwoman.
You get to see Catwoman a lot in the trailer. You get to see a little bit of Alfred. You get to see the new Batmobile. You get to see Penguin before he's really Penguin, whatever is like Oswald Cobblepot, who's played by Colin Farrell, which you can't tell is Colin Farrell, but it's Colin Farrell. You got to see the Riddle for like 2 seconds there, but so we will see how it goes. March 22nd is released. It is released March 22nd in IMAX and everything.
Heck yeah.
We can't break tradition and not see it in IMAX on opening day. So we'll have to figure that one out.
Yep. That goes back deep. We were watching we saw The Dark Knight in IMAX on opening night.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah. There hasn't been a standalone Batman movie since then. So it's not, we didn't break tradition with Batman versus Superman. And
well, like The Dark Knight Rises, we saw in IMAX as well.
That's what I mean. I meant that series.
Yeah.
That
right,
series.
Yeah.
So, they also announced that Batgirl is like they already announced that Batgirl was being made, but they announced that J.K. Simmons will return as Detective Gordon for that one specifically. So we already know there's multiple universes in the DC universe, and this is where they're going to start showing it a little bit, which doesn't make any sense because the Batgirl, sorry, is Latino/Black. So the fact that they didn't make the Detective Gordon from this Batman, the Detective Gordon for that one, doesn't really make a lot of sense because this Detective Gordon is Black, and but race is just a thing. It doesn't have to be anything about your parents. I'm a prime example about that. So, what else we got from DC Fandom? We got the Flash trailer, a teaser trailer. It opened up when they did it, saying Ezra Miller was there.
Yeah,
and he said right at the beginning before they showed the teaser, he's like, "Yeah, we haven't really shot a lot of stuff, so we can't really show you anything. But this is what we've already shot, and we can show you." So, and if
that's a whole lot,
yeah. So the opening was kind of like in the one timeline where Michael Keaton Batman's there. Throughout the trailer, you're hearing Michael Keaton talk. So, and then at the very end, you see him. And if you see here on that pause in that one little scene where you see the three people, if you're watching it, if you're not, it's a little. It's you got the two Flashes, both played by Ezra Miller, and Supergirl. Not Supergirl. She's Wonder Girl, Wonder Kid, or whatever. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But if you look at this one suit by the one in the back, the Flash in the back, his suit is actually an old Batman suit when people zoomed on it, and they just spray painted the logo on top of Batman's logo.
Interesting.
So it's going to be an interesting little twist.
Yeah.
So we'll see how many Flashes we do end up seeing. So
yeah, well, it's all about Flashpoint, right? Like they're going into the metaverse or the Flash, the Speedverse.
Well, the Speedverse is there. That's kind of there, but they're going through the timeline. They're going through the multiverse.
Yeah,
like the
what
multiverse.
Do you think he was pulling from underneath that.
It's the old Batmobile. It's the 1989 Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
How did you not pick that up from everything else in the trailer, Matt?
You're the DC fan. That makes sense, though.
If you watch the rest of the trailer, it's all about being in the Batcave.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton. You see Michael Keaton from behind, and then come on now. And in that trailer, you'll see a dead Batman, so that's kind of weird. So lots to go there. What else they got? We got the first look of Black Adam. The devastating featurettes of Black Adam. You don't really see a lot. There's no story, there's no plot. Obviously, you just see the awakening of Black Adam, like you would see in the first Shazam. The first Shazam was fun. It was not a great storytelling movie, but it was a fun movie. Yeah. I mean, it's a movie for kids. Like Shazam is a child, right? So it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And then we had a trailer for Fury of the Gods. Kind of, it was like a behind the scenes kind of thing because there's still a production for that one. So again, not a lot to see for that. You do see the new villains a little bit with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. You see a whole new family. Well, you see not the whole new family. You see all the superhero family kind of. Yeah. And then we got, what else did we get from Fandom here? We got behind the scenes for Aquaman 2. So they're starting to shoot that. That's going over the summer. That started over the summer. It's supposed to be more mature, but still fun and wonky and like the last one. So I don't know what the hell that means. Take what you will from that, I guess.
I don't know if I've actually watched Aquaman all the way through.
Okay. It's story's not really there. Acting's kind of garbage, but I have my gripes about Aquaman in general, like this version of Aquaman. So, it was fun. Like it was, it was an interesting movie, but I don't like the way they portray Aquaman and with this actor. So it is what it is. But with the failure of DC, not failure, but like the false, they had a spin-off movie and they canceled it from one of the big villains in the movie. The villain really saved Aquaman and he's barely in it. One of the main, his main nemesis, Aquaman's main nemesis is, he'll probably be part of the second one a lot more, but hopefully here's that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Black Mantra. What else do we get? We got the announcement of Wonder Woman 3. Not that we need it, but it's coming. With the return of Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, and Linda Carter all returning as the director and the two actresses who play Wonder Woman. So we'll see. That we just got it out, so that's nothing to see from there. We saw a trailer for the new Flash. It's gonna have a huge crossover with the other characters, but I think you're only gonna be on those shows because Arrow doesn't really exist. They have an Arrow character there,
right?
Black Lightning is a Netflix show which is owned by CW. Still, I don't know. It's a whole lot of stuff. So he's in it. Supergirl is over by the time this starts. I don't know if Superman's going to be in there. Superman and Lois is apparently one of the greatest CW shows, like superhero shows they've created through this universe. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't watched it. But it's got renewed for a second season, so that's interesting. We saw a little bit of a sneak behind there at the Fandom. Lots of stuff happened, and then they obviously showed us the two big games coming out from DC: Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We saw a full trailer of that. You kind of see a lot of the Justice League members in the trailer. I think Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman. You only see the Batmobile, so you don't really see Batman.
Right, but he's in it, obviously.
Yeah. And then you got obviously the main characters: King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn, and Amanda Waller, obviously. So it looks interesting. It's gonna be a big battle for supremacy. I don't know
what kind of game. Like, how do you think it's gonna play? Like, I don't know much about it.
I feel like it's gonna be played like it's gonna be very linear, and I think it will just flip back between characters. There's no gameplay yet trailer.
Right.
This is just a story trailer.
Yeah.
So hopefully, is if it might be like Arkham Asylum, like it could play like that a lot,
right?
But I don't think it'll be as open. I think it will still be very linear.
Yeah. Which honestly, like, I loved Arkham Asylum, and like once we got into Arkham City and all the games since, like the gameplay kind of fell off a little bit for me personally. Like, I just didn't find it lended itself as well to an open world style. I really like the curated stories.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I don't know, because it's very, very interesting to see where they'll go with it. And it's the same guys who did Arkham Asylum,
Rocksteady, right? Yeah.
So because it looks like their graphics.
It does. It's got a similar like look to it, like the game engines, obviously.
So it'd be interesting if it's the same universe and all that stuff. So
maybe
we'll see some old characters come back, and I know Penguin's in it for like a few minutes. They go after him for a bit. They make a joke in the trailer. Like, they kind of put like a shock on him, and because he's their like informant, I guess is what it is. I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully it's good. And then the other announcement trailer we got was not announced. Story trailer was Gotham Knights. They announced that a while ago. They announced that at E3 or whatever. And that looks pretty good. Again, it looks like the guys who did. I didn't see who made it, but it looks very good. I assumed it was the same guys who make Arkham City as well, because it's supposed to be in the same universe, but it's after Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
So it's after Arkham Knight.
Okay. So the fact that I just saw what I assume is a spoiler for Arkham Knight, because I've never finished it.
Yes.
First scene in the trailer.
Yes. So here's the thing about Arkham Knight. I'll spoil it for everyone. It was free for Game Pass on PlayStation.
It was.
At one point.
Yeah, I started playing it.
Yeah, it's the story's okay. So the end, like, there's two endings you can get at the end of it, and obviously, but either way, it's presented that Bruce Wayne is dead. So, and he kind of outs himself as Batman.
Yep.
In a sense, I don't want to say too much more because there is a lot to it, and it gets getting kind of muddy in there. But play it, give it a shot. It's fun. You get to see you get to understand Red Hood a little bit. A lot of people don't know who Red Hood is, and that's fine. If you watch DC Titans, which just got picked up for its fourth season, even though the third season's halfway through right now, which Canada doesn't get until it goes onto Netflix, which is probably months away. But yeah, and Red Hood is in the new season of Titans as well, and it makes sense. I can't really. There's a lot of reasons I don't want to spoil a lot of it. Yeah, Red Hood's actually a very unique storyline, and yeah. So there's that. So yeah, that was kind of DC fandom. They there's a lot of other stuff like comics and stuff they talked about. Like they kind of talked about how there's a new black, like one of the major black superheroes is coming out. I forget his name. Is it Milestone? I can't remember necessarily. No, it's made by Milestone Media, and they're the big ones who created. Gosh, what was the big character? I don't remember. Static Shock. Is that the character? Yeah. Static Shock. Yeah. And he's getting his own TV show, and he's getting his own movie, and then his own animated movie as well. And the original movie, the live action movie, is getting produced by Michael B. Jordan. So
Wow.
hopefully, it will be right up a big action hero. Like we need to see a little bit more people of color in the action horror hero films.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like we're getting Blue Beetle, which will be big because he's a Mexican superstar. He's from Mexico. I shouldn't say he's Mexican. I don't know how they're going to portray him, but his backstory is he's an illegal immigrant who eventually becomes he's a child of illegal immigrants who becomes a superhero, gets attacked by an intergalactic beetle.
Yeah.
And it gets attached to him, makes him so super powerful. And if you watch the Justice comics or in the games, he's one of them that gets killed. So spoiler alert.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so they've casted him, and if you watch Cobra Kai, one of the young Latino gentlemen in that show is going to be playing him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm not good with names, as you all know that if you listen to this and watch us regularly. Names tend to escape me quickly. Yeah, so that's DC, man. DC's got a lot coming out this year.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was no shortage. I did briefly look at the publisher for Gotham because it looks like Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad games, they're both being like in the same universe as the Arkham series.
Yes.
But Suicide Squad's being done by Rocksteady, which did all of the core games in the Arkham series, whereas Gotham Knights is being done by Warner Brothers Montreal, which is the studio that did the Arkham Origins game, which arguably was the worst of the bunch. They're like the outsourced studio for like the extra game. So that immediately lowered my expectations for Gotham Knights. Suicide Squad I actually have reasonable expectations for. Again, I didn't get very far through Arkham Knight. I didn't find it particularly compelling when I was playing it. I felt like it was an old game. Like it really felt like it was running.
Yeah, it was. There were some new concepts too that were kind of like because you used the car a lot more, and it was just like
it felt a bit janky. Exactly. I very early on, like I'm talking probably first hour, maybe 2 hours. I was just like, no, I want to play something else. So maybe I need to go back and try it again for the sake of these games. I'm hoping that, Suicide Squad feels a bit more polished and more like a modern game, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hopeful, yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. A couple more movie tidbits. So Disney has delayed all of the 2022 Marvel movies. What's going on? What's happening?
I don't know. They didn't really explain why they did it, but it just seems like there must be production problems. I would assume that's what the issue is.
Yeah.
To give more time for the movies. Like if you look at it, like Doctor Strange is now May 5th when it was supposed to come out in February.
Or May 6th, yeah.
And Thor is now July when it was supposed to be in May.
Yep.
Same with Wakanda. Now it's November. And that one just hasn't even started shooting yet. So that's what I can understand why they wanted to push it back.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they haven't started shooting yet. So
okay.
So I can understand why they want to push that back from their July date that they had. The Marvels got pushed back to the next year, to 2023 from November. Ant-Man got a date, and then they moved it to the 28th of 20. Like that one got pushed like 3 or 4 months, like almost a year, almost
5 months. Yeah.
And then Disney, who owns Indiana Jones, delayed it for a whole year. I mean, that's understandable. Harrison Ford actually hurt himself like a couple months ago, 6 months ago, or something.
Like every time he's on a set, I feel like he's getting hurt these days.
Yeah,
like
he's back now. He's back now shooting it. So so it's not too bad. But
looks like Guardians is the only movie that stayed its course for May 5th, 2023. Like that's like the only one that didn't get bumped.
And that makes sense. I mean, like that one is far enough. They just started working on it now. They just finished casting and all that stuff. Because we already announced that Adam got casted by Will something. And if you've seen him, the guy is like 6'7". and built
Really?
like a rock now. Yeah, like you think of that janky kid from We Are the Millers, but
Yep.
you see him now. He's jacked and he's tall as hell, and so it makes sense, when you see him now. And I'm sure he's been working out for the purpose of this film, but
Yeah.
because that's where the money is these days, is superhero films. So
Yep.
and somebody young, right? Too, so doesn't help.
It's
Helps a
Will
lot.
Poulter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you see him on TV, you think he's just like this, normal sized guy, but he's huge apparently. But TV magic, they make Tom Cruise look big. So, I'm pretty sure Tom
Damn
Cruise is just
soapboxes.
my height, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is not tall.
No,
he is freaking Google 1.7 meters. What is 1.7 meters in feet?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I realize I'm
170 centimeters, so that's 5'6".
5'5'7", so 5'6", rounding up. Yeah, which is not particularly tall.
No, well, I'm 5'5", so what does that say about me, Matt? What are you saying about me? What are you going at me for? Wow,
the truth comes out.
Oh, rude.
The last bit of movie news, though, what we're probably super stoked for, because it's this Thursday.
Tomorrow.
We've only been talking about it like it's it's Thursday. We see it Thursday.
Today's Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, today's Wednesday.
Wow. Thanks for cluing in. Jake, join the club. Everyone welcome Matt to Wednesday. I don't know why I'm looking over here when the camera's over there. I look over here all the time, so camera's over here. So
like what the viewers don't know is that you have another camera there, and that's like your prime camera. It's just nobody's taking.
I like to watch myself later. So yeah.
Yes. So Dune's out tomorrow. We're gonna go.
Technically Friday, but we see it on. We always see it the day early. It technically comes out on the 22nd by their posters.
Yes,
but anyways. I mean, like if you look at the Eternals, that comes out on November 5th. We'll see it November 4th, but their premiere party was this week. So who knows?
Yep.
And like the big post-credit scene has been spoiled already, and everyone's up in arms about it. But I haven't read it. I didn't look into it.
Disappointing.
I just know one thing, and it's just because it's the headline. So you're just like, why would you? Why?
Now,
you know what I mean?
Me as a like somebody who hasn't read the book, would that spoil?
Oh no, I'm talking about the Eternals, not Dune. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So the post-credit scene for Eternals was
wow, that's
spoiled.
really early.
Well, again, like I said, the premiere dates overseas and here already happened. So it's because there's a big star. Matt, you won't know who he is, but a big pop star is in it, and that's kind of why it's such a big deal.
Okay,
you might know who he is. I don't know. You didn't know who Olivia Rodrigo is, so I don't know.
Let's see. I'm looking over the cast. Let's see if I can pick it out on my own. I'm gonna bring this up and
I wonder if he's even credited.
Is it Angelina Jolie? I feel like I've never heard of that. No, I'm joking. Looking.
I don't know if she's gonna be in this Google thing that you're looking at, but
no. Clearly, he's not that popular if he's not showing up in this.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna credit him because he's in the post-credit scene. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, if you just close that tab, just close it, because it did say who it was on that tab. But I won't say it anymore.
Fair enough.
To it, not to ruin for anyone. But again, like if you follow anything comic booky or movie newsy things, unless it's us, because I don't have time to post something every day, you would see that what happened, because it was just such stupid news. I don't know why they had to do it, but they did it.
Yep.
They did it.
So, they did it.
Yeah. So Dune. We go see Dune tomorrow. We'll have a review for that, a full review next week. Well, I will, with whomever else I end up doing this with. And it might just be me. So who knows? It could just be me. That'd be a fun podcast.
With Alex.
Yeah, just me talking to myself and telling you my political views on everything. Just tank this podcast into the ground.
I
No,
go
I
away
don't
for
have.
1 week. We're that close to 52 weeks, 1 year of doing this, and just the last week before Alex just tanks it all.
Yeah. Well, why not? I haven't missed one, so let's not ruin the time now. But yeah, no, Dune will be fun. I finished the book finally. It took me a while, but I got there. So I was reading. I'm not reading it. Sorry, I'm listening to it on the audiobook. I've done it now. Like I just said. Thanks for listening. And so I was telling you, like it was confusing for me. There were some parts that just didn't make sense. There was like another character that all of a sudden just came out of nowhere, but now I know why. So the audio version I'm listening to has a cast for like the first 30 to 40 chapters, and it gets rid of the cast and has just got one guy narrate it until the very last chapter where they bring the cast back. I'm just like,
Weird.
well, no wonder I didn't know who that was because I'm not reading it, right? So I'm like, I'm not seeing the names completely. They are saying the names, but like they
Yeah.
shorten them down to certain things, or like Baron, like the Baron or something.
Yeah.
They just see Baron and this, Baron that, and like they change the voice acting. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. And then they changed the voice acting for like the actor for the last couple of episodes, and it was just like a last couple chapters. I'm like, well, now it all makes fucking sense, right? Like it makes sense now, but it was just so very confusing, so very very confusing. But that's what you get for audiobooks, I guess. So
Yep.
you win some, you lose some. I just don't know why they got rid of the cast because the cast was good. It makes it a lot easier and a lot more entertaining to read or listen to. Listen to. Still getting book knowledge, so maybe. My thing is I don't get is they have like audiobooks for graphic novels, so
Yeah.
it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Like you. Well, I mean, hey, you know what? There are people out there who are visually impaired. Why shouldn't they get to enjoy
I
graphic
agree. I
novels?
get that. But I feel like when you read a graphic novel, right? I'm not saying like I get it. There should be visual and audio mediums for these people.
Yep.
I just like then how like is it a different kind of written graphic novel? Like how is it like is there more to it? Because like you read some they're like short sentences and they kind of some of the pictures kind of tell the story. So like I've never listened to a graphic novel, so I'm kind of interested to see how it would go. But like
I would imagine or at least hope that like if you're gonna do a like an audiobook of a graphic novel that there would be descriptions of what you're visually seeing in each comic script
yes.
or box, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It would be strange if they didn't.
Yeah, I'll be yeah, it'll be fine. We'll see. I think I downloaded for free, by the way. It's not free for everyone, but it was free for me. Haha. Was Sandman. So that's one of the
Okay.
biggest graphic novels. It's got a
We
full
actually have
cast
like
too.
a ginormous like
Yeah.
hardcover book copy of Sandman that
Which is
I
one of the
have
things
yet
they
to
talked
read.
about at DC Fandom, which I just forgot to write about.
Hey, there's another thing.
So because DC owns Sandman and all those characters. But I think we didn't see anything from it because they already released the trailer for that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we did see a couple of new posters for like Gwendolyn Christie, who's playing Lucifer.
Mhm.
Because that was one of the big things. Like, why didn't they just get the guy who plays Lucifer now to play him in this show?
Yeah.
I highly doubt the guy still wants to play Lucifer, so that's one reason. But also they wanted probably, and Neil Gaiman said that he wanted to kind of separate this from the other stuff and kind
Okay.
of make it his own, a whole different generation,
Like a
even though
new
it's in the
world.
same
Yeah.
like universe as that.
Sure.
So, and they changed up a bunch of the characters that he wanted the way he wants them to be. So, I guess it sounds like he has a lot of power on this show. So, is it a show or is it a movie? I'm pretty sure it's a show. I don't remember.
Let's look it up. The Sandman, right?
Yeah, TV series. So,
Yeah.
not too bad. Yeah. So, we got who we got in it? Anybody? We got Charles Dance in it. We got Kirby Howell Baptiste, who's as Death, playing Death. Jetta Coleman, always good. She's playing Joanna Constantine, which is hilarious. Because Constantine meets Lucifer in a different. Anyways, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Joanna Constantine is the wife of John Constantine in some books. It's also the sister in some books. It's a whole thing. Anyways, who else do we got? We got David Lewis as John D. Patton Oswalt's in it. Obviously, Gwendolyn Christie, as I said. Stephen Fry. Some other people I don't really know. A lot of British actors, which makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, we got the former king in Game of Thrones. What's his name? It was the one that wow, I'm really struggling to remember names. This guy right here. He was in the trailer.
Charles Dance was the first person I mentioned. Thanks for paying attention.
I don't know his name. That's why I said the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was never a king, but yeah.
Was he not?
No, so he was
he was Jamie, just the father of Jamie.
He was the father of Jamie and what's her face. So he was the hand of the king for a while, and then he kind of just took over the leadership while they were working on getting a new king.
Yeah.
Well, because what's his face was too young.
Joffrey,
his one son. No,
younger son.
Yeah. And then when he became king, he killed himself. And before that could happen, he got killed by the other guy. Spoiler alert if people are watching Game of Thrones. You're like 5 years too late. So,
by the imp.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that.
Tyrion. See?
Tyrion Lannister.
Eventually it all comes around.
Yeah. It gets there.
If you didn't notice, I thought today was Tuesday, so clearly I'm struggling.
It's true. It's true. When does this come out? Does it say? It does not say. Or does it? It does not say.
Release date. It doesn't look like it's anywhere in particular, which kind of is Netflix's whole shtick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just kind of announce stuff and then it's just there and you have no opportunity to like plan for it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It will come. It will come. Yep. Netflix, I'm big fans of Netflix. The TV show You came out last week.
Yep.
On Friday.
Season 2, right?
A Friday or 2 weeks ago? I don't know. Season 3 came out this week.
Season 2 or season 3?
Season 3.
Season 3, wow.
Season 3.
Yeah, I've walked in the room, seeing Jamie watch this show. She read the original book as well. I'm not into it personally. Like, it's not for me, but clearly there's an audience for it. So,
I mean, if you watched it all the way through, I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's highly rated.
I enjoyed it. The first season was good. The second season was, it was, but I mean, it's very Dextery, right? So it's very, very Dextery. So the way it's presented, it's not the same as Dexter, but
yeah,
just like the overtone, like how he talks over the whole show. You're hearing his thoughts from a narration point of view,
right?
And then him reacting to the situation. So, and then you're just like, and then there's a lot of situations like, how did he not get caught in that situation?
Yeah.
So, and now there's a baby involved. It's a whole thing. So,
well, I mean, how does he not get caught? All that kind of stuff, loopholes. Might as well just go right into our season finale talk of Only Murders in the Building, show about a podcast.
Yes.
Yes, because I finally caught up. So if you've been following along with this podcast,
I was not expecting that.
Week after week,
I honestly didn't expect you to come in and say you weren't caught up, and then that was the whole thing.
I've seen it all. I've seen the season finale. I am fully caught up.
Hands up in the air. We're all there.
I shocked Alex. You viewers must be very shocked by this. I did the deed. I caught up, and I have opinions. So you're going to listen to them.
All right, go for it.
Firstly, coming back to why I decided to segue the way I did was, oh my gosh, how many times were you sitting there thinking to yourself, really? Like the cop just allowed a podcaster to figure it out and take the case off her hands? Like, really?
2021, bro. Well, like if you listen to what she said it was coming down from the top, right? So the top told her to stop. The top.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever the top
Sure.
is.
The top.
Right?
Okay. But like there's even like so many times where like when Tim Kono saw what happened to his friend and confronted the people, I'll leave it there. And how they like threatened him, and then those same folks threatened other people in the show, and nobody thought maybe I'll just tell the cops about what these people are saying or doing. Really? Like that's
Murderers,
how it
man. What are you
goes?
gonna do? You gonna
Like
find a murderer?
I don't know. Also,
It's New
when
York, though. Like, you gotta think
two of the
about it.
characters get taped up by a single person, really? Two people couldn't handle a single person on their own?
Fear,
Like,
man.
there's just
Fear makes you do some crazy things, man. You don't
time
know.
after time.
I'm gonna break into your house.
Is
I'm gonna hire one
happening?
person to break into your house and see what happens. No, I won't do that. That seems like a lot of work and money I don't have. So, but yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's television, man. It's television.
Yeah,
It's also New York. Where are the cops gonna be? Not where they need to be. That's for sure. I've seen a lot of videos on the internet. They're just this week from New York. You know, cops are just being cops. You know, it's who they are. Some cops are good, some cops are bad, or all cops are bad, depending on your view. But yeah, back to the story here. Did you think before we got to the finale, like obviously the end of the last episode before this finale, did you think it was going to be the person that it was?
Yes, I did call it out before it was like overtly revealed. I think I picked up on it. Like there were clearly hints, but it wasn't like they were like going out of their way in like the second and third last episodes to like point in this direction.
Yeah.
But I did before they really started to make it obvious, make a comment that I felt like it could be this person, and it ended up being right. So yeah, I kind of figured it out. How about you?
Oh, I mean, the moment that person entered the story, I was like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense for this character to be part of the story for any reason.
But I mean, they kind of did that over and over. They just introduced random people throughout the show,
but
right?
the fact, so not the very first episode I saw, okay, or spoiler alert, but the first person I saw them, it was probably the second episode then, because like,
sure,
the fact that it was recurring made sense. Like you don't just introduce a new character for no reason.
Yeah,
like the son, you know, came in and he was gone. You know, you only saw him once or twice again. And then there's other characters like the rest of the apartment buildings, like, you know, they come and go, but they're not consistent. There are a few, like, you know, like obviously the dip people, they were consistent enough that that's where they were try to mislead you. Spoiler it again, just spoiler the whole show for you. Where they kind of misled you to that point. But yeah, I don't know. It was pretty. It was an interesting story, you know.
Yeah, honestly, like I enjoyed the show. So me, breaking down, like, again, anybody who's listening right now, Only Murders in the Building. I enjoyed the show. It was fun. You know, I was like kind of kicking it down a little bit early on because I felt Selena Gomez's character was just like very weak. I didn't like her acting. And then, you know what? I did come around. Alex, you told me time and time again, like if you watch long enough, you'll start to enjoy the character more. I did start to enjoy her character a little bit more. But
like that's the whole thing. The characters, all of them kind of like make them better, make each other better. And that's what the ultimate point of the show, I think, is that it doesn't matter how old you are. You kind of kind of can make that situation.
It was fun. It was a good show. I would recommend checking it out to anybody who is looking to check it out or is listening to this. Like it's fun. It's on Disney Plus, under part of the Stars package.
Which you get for free anyways.
It was a good show. And it's clearly going to lead into a second season.
So it was picked up for a second season like a month ago or something. But so second season coming up. We'll see how it goes. And why it's called Only Murderers in the Building. I hope we don't see Tina Fey ever again. But that's just me.
That big of a fan that you just don't want to see her,
I just
right?
find her, like, especially in that last scene, was just so unnecessarily forced and not funny. I don't know.
But that's like her.
I know that's her.
Shtick.
That's the whole thing, and I don't find it funny.
So I take it you were never a 30 Rock fan.
I watched like most of the seasons, but then it got like I think I watched the first 3 seasons. Let's be real. I didn't watch that much, but then it got very, very much the same. But I have a problem with a lot of those kind of comedy shows because they just nothing changes. It's just the same style of joke and story arc over and over and over again. That's probably why I don't like a lot of comedy TV shows because it's just the same over and over, just written differently, but then over again. So it's the same story with a different character, or you know what I mean? Like it's just like grow up or grow down, whatever you want to do. I don't really care. It's your TV show, I guess. You're making more money than I am, so doing it. What else we got in TV? We got another thing from DC fandom. We got a Peacemaker TV series trailer.
Yep.
Looks stupid as hell, but it's fun. It looks funny in a sense. Looks so stupid, but they were literally allowed to do whatever they wanted with this TV show. So we'll see what they're allowed to do. What else came out of DC fandom? I think that's literally the last of the DC fandom. I don't know. I could be wrong.
There could be more.
There could be more.
Who knows?
Who knows?
What kind of fan are you?
Well, there was a lot happening at once that day, and I was like really hungry. I wasn't hungry. I was food hungover. Is that a phrase? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Food coma.
Yeah. Some say that, but I was just ate a lot that day.
What did you eat?
Dim sum. So it was like a whole lot.
Oh, you did tell me that you had dim sum that day. That's right. I've been craving some dim sum for a while. I really want to go get some dim sum sooner than later. Yeah.
Yes.
Quite.
Yes. All right, we'll skip through this gaming news real quick. Obviously, we already talked about the Suicide Squad and the Gotham Knights announcements. Thing I just saw on the internet just recently is like you can play Doom on Twitter now. The first Doom on Twitter. You have to go look up Tweet to Doom, and it will tell you how to play it on Twitter. It will show you all the necessary things. Yeah, you have to screenshot it, you have to reply to it, and then you can just play it, and it's a whole thing.
They've been doing Twitter's been doing this kind of thing for a little while now. It kind of started with Twitch, sorry, you know what? I lied. It was Twitch that was doing stuff like this. Twitch plays Pokemon, and it was the commenters that were controlling what was happening, and they were actually doing pretty well. They were getting pretty far in the game. So, seeing Twitter do this is just kind of taking a page out of that, in my opinion. It's fun. I think it's just a cool thing. Doom is a common game that is used to see like, can it be played on something? Like a lot of people will ask, well, can it play Doom? And so like we've seen Doom played on graphics calculators. We've seen Doom play it on a touch bar on a Mac, coming back to that a little bit. You name it. There's so many things where people have, can it play Doom, right? And I'm just curious, what we find here very quickly. Oh, it's been played on an Apple Watch. Twitter, as we've just talked about. Apparently a pregnancy test was able to play it for some reason. Like I said, 100 pounds of moldy potatoes on a calculator. Who knew? So yeah, like if you find a screen and it has like any kind of computational power, you can play Doom on it. It's on a printer. Like just ridiculous.
Very true. What else we got? We got God of War. It's going to be coming to the PC next year. I saw a really funny Reddit image. I don't have it at the ready, but somebody had said like God of War is on PC for 5 minutes, and this is what modders do. It was basically like Kratos and his son as Yoda and Grogu with like all the paint all over them. I'm just like, classic,
brilliant. And yeah, I guarantee you the modding community is going to do something equivalent to that, if not that exactly.
Yeah. And then I read a news a while ago why God of War 2 was delayed was because of the voice actor. They wanted to wait for him specifically, and I guess I didn't really read into it, but I think he was sick or something, or maybe not sick, but he was already busy, but they wanted him back, so they couldn't do it because of scheduling conflict. So that's why it got delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's fun news. That's good that they're keeping the same actors. I didn't write this down, but I saw that Resident Evil 4 VR is doing very well with the Oculus.
Yeah, it seems to be getting a lot of talker.
Yeah, so it's
Better.
got a lot of good reviews out there, so people are enjoying it, I guess. I don't know how you play a zombie game in VR, but I don't want to. So yeah, because zombies are
Found the
coming soon
image.
enough. Zombies are coming soon enough. And if you're watching this thing, you can see Matt just put up the Zelda, not Zelda. Wow,
Not Zelda.
come at me, bro.
Wow.
The Star Wars GIF or meme that we saw earlier.
Yeah, of God of War. Yeah. I love it. That's so
yeah. What else we got there, Matt?
CD Projekt Red, the company famous for releasing the perfect Cyberpunk 2077 that had no controversy.
What are you talking about? I've never heard about this game before in my life.
Oh no! Oh, let me
No.
learn you.
I don't need to know.
Learn
you,
well,
he says.
Surprise, surprise! The next gen upgrade that I've been waiting for to play the game. I literally have it disc form. I got it for Christmas last year, waiting for the Xbox One Series X upgrade, which is a free update to it that's coming, has been now delayed till next year. So once again, I'm like, just, am I ever going to play this game? Who knows?
Who knows?
It has been delayed to 2022. Witcher 3 was supposed to get an update as well. It has also been pushed back. So yeah, really disappointing. Not much more we need to say on that other than what a crazy amount of marketing hype that went into this game that was such a disappointment due to, things that they knew it was in a broken state and they did it anyway. So, it's on them.
But it is what it is. I just read a note of that Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, is actually shooting in Atlanta right now. So,
there you go.
So there you go. Just to flow back to the last thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
And WWE's in Saudi Arabia this week. So if anyone cares about that, you can go watch that. You can't, because apparently I can't record it, but it airs on a Thursday at like 12 p.m. anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Because they keep going back there for some reason. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. What about you, Matt? You got anything else?
That's it, guys. That's all she wrote. I got nothing else. Nothing else for you today.
Well, that's cool. So yeah, what do we got? We got Dune next week. You're gone, so next week should be a very interesting week. I don't know what's gonna happen yet, guys. Maybe one of you all want to come join me. Shoot me a message. We'll set it up. You can set it up. I'm open. I'm open to whatever. And then, so this is episode 50. Next week will be episode 51. And then episode 52 hits. And that will be a full year of the Play Pause podcast.
Oh my God.
We actually, our first podcast was November 4th. So, it'll be almost a full year of us doing that. So, what a crazy time. What a crazy year it's been. We're not even there yet.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
don't jump ahead, Alex. Don't jump ahead.
Always got to jump ahead. You got to look to the future to see the future. What? Anyways, then as always, if there's anything you want us to talk about, read, listen, musically, do, get Matt to sing. I don't know. You let us know in the
I've sung on this podcast.
Put it in the comments. Live feeds, I don't think it'll be live next week, but it could be. You never know. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and commenting and watching and doing what you do. Be you, boo-boo. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Bye-bye.